We know that Kent County has been a focus of the race for more than a year now, with the president carrying it only by about 9,000 votes in 2016.
Yeah, Doug touched on it right now. The votes still being counted, including in Grand Rapids. That's where we find Fox 17's Michael Martin at DeVos Place, where workers continue that tedious process. Michael?
Yeah, guys, good evening. We heard from Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson this afternoon, who said at that time the state of Michigan had about 100,000 votes left to be counted, many of them being absentee ballots. Now, here at DeVos Place in Grand Rapids, they continue to tabulate the several thousand remaining absentee ballots, making sure that each and every one is properly interpreted and counted.
This is part of the process of making sure that every ballot's counted.
On Wednesday afternoon, a handful of elections workers remained inside one of the empty exhibition halls in DeVos Place in downtown Grand Rapids.
In 2016, it was about 69,000 to the precincts and only 16,000 absentees. So this is a whole different process.
Grand Rapids City Clerk Joel Hondorp says this election saw those numbers flipped, with 35,000 people voting in person and about 85,000 voting absentee.
I'm not going to give any times of when we think we're going to be done. We're going to do our work and get it finished.
They've been able to run about 25 ballots at a time through their tabulating machines, with some hiccups along the way.
We had one kind of paper style for our first ballots are out. Then, we saw that what voter turnout could be, so the county ordered more ballots, and the vendor sent it with a little bit thinner stock because they weren't planning on them being used for absentees.
But Hondorp says some precincts did end up distributing some of those thinner cardstock ballots as absentees, causing delays with equipment. Any ballots that are not properly filled out are flagged as well, and then adjudicated between a Democratic and Republican representative present on site.
It's a compromise between a Republican and Democrat election worker, so they have the final say. And so, but it's a public process, so challengers are watching the process of how they're making their decisions.
While this process takes time, Hondorp says it is vital in making sure that every ballot is properly counted.
As I've said all along, this is the process. So when we're finished and we send the results to the county, that's when we'll be ready. Because I don't want to say anything and then something happened to a piece of equipment.
Yeah, and actually I just spoke to a spokesperson for the city, Steve Guitar, about 10 minutes ago, and he told me that at this point they expect to have all of these absentee ballots counted within just a few hours. So we should have that full tabulation of absentee ballots ready by the end of Wednesday. For now, live in Grand Rapids, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
All right, Mike.